Hello everyone. Hello. We're going to go ahead and get started right on the dot at 7. Got something new for you guys as well. So, sleepy. I need music. That's what's missing here. That's it. That's the vibe. Hey, Ari. How are you doing? Just kind of jamming out before we start. I should probably get... Once again, I have too many tabs open. Can be better. I feel that. Oh, hello, new subscriber. Absolutely. So, just letting you guys know, for those of you that are new, first of all, my name is Christian. Hello, and welcome to Mind Over Mania. So, how the live stream works is I start off with a collective message for everybody, and then if you go on to the link in the description, there's a website called Hypesy, where you go ahead and input your question, and then you get on the queue. Yeah, sorry to hear you're feeling crappy, Ari. I've kind of been in the same funk. I just finished moving, and then my health issues started flaring up, and so it feels like it's just been this never-ending thing. So, but that's okay. That's why we're here. We're here to hang out, have a good time, see what messages Spirit has for us. Just, just kind of vibe. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started at 7, okay? But I am gonna be doing something a little different for the collective message today, so I'm excited. Hope y'all have a nice beverage with you. I've got some decaf coffee I'm sipping on right now. I'm sorry, it's a little, like, dark. Okay. I know it's kind of, the lighting's a little weird, but I like being able to see the screen better. And hey, guess what, guys? It's a Friday. Nothing can bring you down if you choose to let it bring you down. Sorry, I'm sitting here thinking something insightful is going to come out of my mouth, but I don't know how insightful it's going to actually be. Hello, hello! Absolutely, so just giving you an update for all the new people, the live stream starts at 7, and I start with a collective message, and we're going to be doing something a little new tonight, so make sure you stick around, and then in order to get yourself on the queue, what you're going to do is, if you look in the chat, go on to Hypesy, or the link in the description of the live stream, and then that's how you sign up for your reading. Yeah, each reading, for the free ones, it's just a 1-card pull. And then if you'd like to buy a full reading, that option's there as well, but no pressure. We're here to have a good time and get some messages. I speak my truth. Hello, hello. Okay, what is it? I feel like all the new people are coming in tonight. I was sitting there thinking it was going to be a little slow. But that's good, that's good. Welcome, welcome. Alright, let me go ahead and... I'm gonna open up... Okay, here. Sorry, one sec, y'all. I'm trying to get you the link to sign up, and then we're going to go ahead and start the collective message. There we go. So that is the link. Yeah. So that's the link. You go in there, you sign up, and then you choose whichever type of reading you'd like. In the meantime... we're going to go ahead and get the collective message started. Alright, I hope you guys can hear me. Okay, because I kind of want some music, but not a lot. Okay. Bring me back. Back. Okay. Okay, here we go. Alright, welcome to Mind Over Mania. My name is Christian. I'm a professional tarot reader and spiritual consultant, and I'm here to keep your head above the chaos. So today's collective reading, we're going to do something a little different than normal. Okay, so normally I do my 15-minute spiel, and it's kind of random for whoever's watching, but this time I'm going to do a slight pick-a-card style for your collective message, okay? So I have 2 crystals here, pile 1 and pile 2, which I guess for you guys it would be flipped. But what I'd like you to do is, for whichever number or crystal you feel drawn to or hand, it's going to be either pile 1 or pile 2. Tap into your intuition, pick a number, and then that's going to be your collective message. I'll start with pile number 1, and then I'm going to read pile number 2. Okay, awesome, I speak my truth. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so, but yeah, it's going to be fun, you know, because I feel like with collective messages, it's really hard to get the message that, if you're watching it, what you want, and so I figured giving you guys a little bit of choice kind of, I don't know, makes it fun, and gives it a little bit more time. Pile 1 for you? Okay, alright. I'm going to give you guys a couple more seconds to determine if you want to choose pile number 1 or pile number 2 for your collective message. Okay. Also, it's weird. The shadow makes my arms look like I've got like orange elbows, and I'm like, listen, I'm pasty. I have no tan. I glow in the dark, okay? I'm like, lighting is so weird. Yeah, but hope you guys are having a good week. Winding down for the weekend. You know, this is a good time to get a nice beverage. Back when this show used to have alcohol, that was usually the drink of choice would be some beer or a marg or something. Now I'm just to the coffee and the teas. But, I'm just saying. Just saying. A little alcohol goes a long way after a long week. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started for pile number 1. Okay, so if you have chosen pile number 2, go ahead and give me about 10 minutes to get through the first collective message, and then I'm gonna go ahead and announce and let you know when pile number 2 is up. Okay? Alrighty. So, hello, R. Lopez. Hello, hello. Alright? I'm starting on a collective message right now. If you choose either pile 1 or pile 2, that's going to be your message for today. Okay? So, for pile number 1, you have chosen the clear quartz crystal. Okay? And so we're going to see what kind of messages Spirit has for you. Okay? So, already off the bat, I'm feeling like pile number 1, some of y'all, there was some kind of a mess. Only take what resonates, because some of you for pile number 1, this is going to be a relationship reading, but it doesn't necessarily need to be romantic. Okay? Like, there's something about it that you chose to either walk away from something or somebody or back down. You know what I mean? I feel like somebody backed down. There's like a weird energy of, it's not quite betrayal, but it kind of feels like it, if that makes sense. I don't know. There's like, okay, I'm like, if that's what pile 1's energy is like, I don't know what pile number 2 is going to be like. That's the thing, collective messages, I get a variety on the show. I mean, like, I know for the repeat folks, you've seen a whole variety of stuff, because, like, sometimes it's about finances, sometimes it's about love, and this feels like it's like a relationship of some kind. Again, I'm really feeling like it has less to do with romance and more so just like an overarching theme. So maybe you guys are noticing you have specific spending patterns, or there's some kind of like a pattern with your relationships that even if this message applies to a romantic partnership, it will also apply to other people in your life as well. Okay, so, alright, let's look at the cards. Okay, so for the first set of cards that I pulled, you have the 9 of Pentacles upright. Okay, and then you've got Panicky and Desperate for emotions cards. Okay, and so there's something about there's something that you're avoiding, pile number one. So there's something about, like, when I saw this card, I immediately lit up. I was thinking, oh my gosh, like, happiness, abundance. I mean, like, look at this. You've got a crow sitting on top of a wolf, okay? Like, that, and then the butterfly here, the sun, like, this is, like, ultimate happiness, right? So to see panicky and desperate sitting right next to it, I don't know if you guys are in a state of self-sabotage, you don't trust either your spiritual path or your spiritual journey, or trusting that there's a bright future ahead of you. You know what I mean? And I'm noticing with, like, the hands too, I almost feel like maybe you guys sometimes struggle either with control, or you really are holding on so tightly to somebody or something, or an ideal situation that's really not gonna pan out for you if you keep going down that path, you know? So I feel like for you guys, pile number one, you need to understand that you are going to be okay, and you don't have to be 110% self-sufficient in order to meet your needs or to find happiness. Because for some of y'all, this could be you're desperately clinging on to, like, I need to have this relationship, or I need to do this, or I need, when really it's more so about relaxing. And it, whatever this betrayal energy is, it really doesn't feel like it's a person outside of you. It feels like you're betraying your spirit and your authenticity with this desperation, okay? And I feel like you're just trying so hard to hang on, and you're like, okay, like, you know, I do all this planning, I try to make this happen, I try to make this happen, oh, and then this thing fell apart and whatever. You know what I mean? And your spirit guide team's trying to let you know that if something's truly working out for your benefit, you don't need to cling on to it so hard, okay? So okay, yeah, so some of you guys, maybe some of you have been abused, you've had, like, maybe financial instability, or, again, you're just trying, it's like you like the image of the sun, but if you actually went out and felt its warmth, it wouldn't feel the same as what you think. You know what I mean? It's some of you guys, you're really in your head about what your happiness should look like instead of seeing what happiness feels like. You know what I mean? And I think that difference between your head and, like, what your body's actually reacting to is really, really important. Because, again, when it comes to control and panicking, right? In your brain, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have this, I don't have that. When really, you know, if you kind of look around, the sun's clear, you know, you've got another chance, you've got time, you know, like maybe you forgot to make that important phone call, maybe you didn't do this. It's okay. You know what I mean? You don't need to beat yourself up. You know, because especially, like, when you're walking in alignment with the path that spirit puts you on and wants you on, they're not going to let you astray, right? And especially in terms of, like, the relationship, some of you, you're desperate because you think that's your financial security, that's your key to happiness. But understand that there's multiple doorways, and it has nothing to do with necessarily a door that needs to be opened right now. It's more so about you being able to not, like, project yourself into an image of happiness, as opposed to, like, sitting back and saying, like, okay, let's start with the small things, right? I've got this cup of coffee. This is Texas pecan flavored coffee. It is delicious, right? But it's not my favorite cup of coffee. So, in that scenario, making sure that I fill my life with cups of coffee that really do bring a smile to my face, that you're one step closer to that little bit of happiness, right? And when you focus on the small pieces, start bringing them in, over time, you'll start building the life that you really want. So then the big things don't necessarily impact you as hard, because it's really hard when you're finding, like, I have all my favorite snacks. My clothes are comfy. You know, like, making sure you remind yourself that even though, yes, you do have important decisions you make and important responsibilities, at the same time, your body is also, like, how do I want to put this? You know, you have a parasympathetic nervous system. Your body does not operate on the same wavelength that your brain does. So your body just simply says, I'm stressed, and doesn't really manage that well. So that's kind of the important part of making sure your environment is great and all those other small things, because it's about keeping yourself in your body so you can keep your head clear. Okay, so let's see what other cards we have. Okay. Yeah, maybe some of you guys are dealing with rejection or heartbreak of some kind. I'm so sorry, pile number one. Ah, okay. Jeez. Yeah, because we've got sad, resentful for our emotion cards. We have spring, see your seeds grow. We have Lord, take charge with authority, which Kranunos might resonate with somebody. We have the Page of Swords in reverse. And then we have the Two of Cups upright. Yeah, so this is telling me, again, there's some kind of like maybe there was a committed relationship that you were seeking and something backfired. Maybe there could have been a job that you thought was going to work out in your favor and you had to walk away either because you couldn't financially support yourself or there was something that your heart is feeling disconnected right now. I'm hearing the word obedient. Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe this is a betrayal where you followed your heart and you feel like you got betrayed doing that. So at this point, you're just obeying your heart instead of really like living with it and integrating, which that's pretty valid. Again, because I feel like you guys, pile number one, I see a lot of like trying to rely on your brain to navigate life while keeping your heart very separate. Simply because, again, of this kind of heartache, you know? But what I find interesting is when you look at these cups, right? They're exchanging back and forth. And that's the sweet spot. That's the energy that y'all should be looking for, you know? Because, again, there's certain aspects of our heart that need to be connected to other people. Versus there's some aspects of our heart that need to be connected to yourself. And so I think maybe going forward when you're seeking partnership with other people, trying to find out which pieces of your heart are the ones that are compatible connecting with other people and benefit you, as opposed to the pieces of your heart that really you should be doing that work within yourself. You know what I mean? I feel like, for example, okay, Spirit's giving me this example. I'm a writer, right? I love to write. However, I don't necessarily need to have a partner who's a writer. Now, I can have friends who's a writer, that's something we can exchange. But the reality is as a creative person, there are some things that I need to be able to write in order to function. And me being able to connect with a partner, yeah, it would be great if they were able to help me, but if they can't, or if that's not something in alignment with them, understanding that you still have an obligation to yourself to continue writing, to continue making sure that's a priority in your life, and then finding other ways to meet your needs, right? Instead of trying to force a partner that maybe can't hold space for that. Now, granted, if it's that important to you, obviously they should support you. But again, it's learning how to not fight and force a situation that either doesn't work, or the opposite, trying to cut someone off because they don't meet certain needs. You know, it's like learning to be a little bit more flexible so that way you're less disappointed and your heart still has room to be able to hold space. With this Page of Swords, though, it kind of feels like I'm hearing something about stealing, because this isn't the Seven of Swords, but it is telling me something about whatever this betrayal was. It kind of feels like you just really want to take your power back, but you're kind of going in the wrong direction with how you're trying to take your power back, especially after this situation. So again, like with the taking charge with authority, right? Not all authority is bad. So when you think of, for example, a kid with a cookie jar, right? The kid with the cookie jar, obviously you should have a parent that tells the kid, hey, you can have a cookie, but if you eat all the cookies, you're going to make yourself sick. And then there's no cookies for anyone else. That authority is there to make sure that, one, child is taken care of, two, other people can still have their needs met, and three, it allows for that relationship to kind of continue in a better balance, right? Because a child doesn't have all of the information. That's the same with like a boss or a manager. We give managers and bosses authority to make sure that things are running smoothly. Now, are they always good at that? No, right? But when it comes to yourself, especially if you've been hurt by authority, so for example, if you're the kind of person that either been parentified by parents, or maybe you have issues with managers because half of them suck at leadership, cough, cough, me. You know what I mean? When you get wounded by authority, you can end up creating dynamics within yourself that you lose your own self-discipline. You lose the authority over your own voice, right? And we see this a lot whenever we're trying to people please, whenever we're trying to get our way, but then cave to the needs of others. And again, you don't need to lord over other people to get what you need, but you have to have an authority within yourself, so that way whenever a little piece of you saying like, oh my gosh, I want that cookie, whatever that cookie represents to you, you gotta have the authority inside yourself to say, hey, we're not gonna touch the cookie, okay? And you're gonna listen because this benefits all of us, you know? So like learning to recreate a relationship with that will help both with yourself, and then also it feels like with your romantic partnerships as well. Because again, especially for those that are female-bodied, the ladies, you really want to be careful with, in terms of like finding a partner. I see this a lot where girls want a dude that's very masculine and has control over things, but then they attract control freaks, right? And they want him to take care of everything because they're scared to develop their own inner authority, their own inner voice, right? And so making sure that you know what that looks like. So also too, on the opposite end, where if you have too much authority, you don't learn to just give up and relax and say, oh, hey, actually, my main has it. I can go back and sit back and relax because he's going to take care of it. You know, it's like there's so many different ends of the spectrum that could resonate with, but y'all get the idea. And then finally, we've got the see your seeds grow. I feel like some of you guys, pile number 1, you're starting to... I don't even say that. I feel like some of you guys, you're just afraid to plant your seeds. And this isn't about like, because some of you guys, you are working on ongoing projects. You are starting your self-care journey and blah, blah, blah. Some of you are checking your boxes and all that. But this tells me that some of y'all, especially in pile number 1, there's a seed that Spirit gave you, but you're resisting putting it in the ground because you're afraid of the results. It's kind of like saying like, okay, on paper, my resume is spotless. You know, like I'm a lawyer, I have all the degrees, I've got all of the accolades, I've got the right connections and blah, blah, blah. And Spirit said, hey, I mean, yes, you are an excellent lawyer, but we want you to go travel to a different country and do aid for a little bit. And you're like, what the fuck? Like why, Spirit? Like, what's going on here? You know, and it's kind of like your spirit is kind of calling you to something else that maybe doesn't feel like it makes sense now, but it will in your future. I won't go into my backstory because I'm trying to get to the next pile, but all I can tell you is this. If you are resisting putting your seeds in, remember, your seeds are there to help you grow. Spirit's not giving you opportunities because they just feel like it, right? Spirit does these things for you. So allow this opportunity to try something new, to try something that's maybe different. Because here's the thing, even if, for example, you have that gut feeling to go travel to that other country and do some work over there for a while, it doesn't mean you're going to do it forever. You never know what's going to happen, right? Because sometimes, as I've learned with my experience, I traveled to the other side of the US, started a new life, and I learned a lot of things. Doesn't mean my career's over. Doesn't mean, like, if anything, I learned a lot about myself. And so by taking that risk to step out and do that weird thing, it's not going to be a death sentence. You know what I mean? And I feel like Spirit's just reminding you to trust yourself, trust your intuition, that if you're really feeling like, man, like, okay, I'm drawn to that, it's going to help you figure yourself out better and more, and it's going to bring you more abundance, more wisdom, and more joy as a result, you know? And so that's why it's kind of like, take a risk on yourself. You know, don't play small, or at least you don't have to go in guns blazing. Just plant a seed. You know, if you are scared, just plant the little seed and be like, I'm going to go take that vocal lesson. I'm going to go start writing a page to that new book. You know, just give it a shot. And it's going to be okay. Spirit's saying it's worth it, it's worth it, it's worth it. Just take the first step, okay? Anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much. That was pile number 1, collective message. And for those of you, in case you had to step away and come back, you can re-watch it. I leave these up on my YouTube channel, so you can go ahead and re-watch it later. especially if you felt drawn to both piles. Okay, pile number 2. These are going to be your collective messages from Spirit, okay? And then after these collective messages, we're going to go ahead and get into the list. So once again, for those of you that are looking for a personal reading, go to the link in the chat or in the description. Go ahead and sign up on Hypeseat, and then that's how you get on the queue. Also, I hope these collective messages resonate. I'm always like... So, for those of you that may or may not have seen or watched my collective pick-a-card readings on my YouTube channel, I never know what's going to happen with y'all. I don't know who the heck keeps showing up on my YouTube channel, because sometimes I'm like, yeah, like, this is going to be a fun reading, and then the cards come out and I'm like, oh my god. And then other times I'm like, okay, this is probably going to end up depressing, and then I'm like, who are you people? You're hilarious. You know what I mean? Like, I genuinely don't get it. I love everybody that shows up. I'm always surprised. And so that's why it really is a leap of faith every time I do these collective messages, because I'm like, I don't know what y'all are on. I'm just happy to be here for the journey, you know? I'd be like, okay. At this point, I mean, like, my life is pretty strange, but some of y'all, I don't know. I don't know. I think some of my favorite collective messages are about gossip, because, oh my god, some of the tea, I'm like, oh lord, I don't know what y'all are up to, but I'm just here to reassure you that God loves you, and that if you want to change your ways, or if you're trying to get out of something, we'll just skedaddle and figure it out, I guess. I don't know. Oh, anyways, I don't really know what to say to that. Anyways, pile number 2, you are being represented by the Jasper Worry Stone, okay? So, it was interesting because before... Hey, Playboy! Hello, hello! I'm doing a collective message right now. Pile number 2. Yeah, so what was interesting about you guys, pile number 2, is... Originally, I was thinking of doing the live stream of only pick-a-card readings, because I was, like, kind of feeling weird before the message started, and then I cleared some energy out, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna do whatever. And so I picked up 3 rocks, because it was supposed to be 3 piles. Well, pile number 3, it was like a river rock, and I picked it up, and it was all of this worry and chaos and dramatic energy, and I was like, whoa, whoa. And then Spirit told me, no, you're only going to do 2 piles. And I was like, okay, I mean, like, timing-wise, that makes more sense, you know, because I don't want to be on too late. But, yeah, and so I was thinking about how with this being a worry stone, I don't know if you guys are being protected from something, or maybe you're pushing your feelings away. Not entirely sure what, only take what resonates, but I am really feeling like there's some kind of just like a, okay, I'm sitting and grounding, I'm trying to focus on my peace. You know what I mean? And so I feel like you guys, pile number 2, you are trying to lock down keeping your head above the chaos. Because you're like, we're gonna deal with these big bad feelings later because I got bills to pay and I got people to talk to, okay? I feel like you guys, pile number 2, you're really keeping it moving. Yeah, you guys, pile number 2, you're just like, ain't nobody gonna bring me down. I'll cry later. Dang, hello, everybody. For those that are new or hanging out, I'm doing a collective message right now. If you're interested in a reading, links are in the description. And we're going to do the free readings after the collective message. Grab a beverage and join the tea. Yeah, for some of you guys, pile number 2, I feel like this is also wishy-washy energy. I feel like pile number 1 was scattered, but like there was at least a more clear message. This pile, it feels like more like you as an individual or on the inside feel very wishy-washy. So maybe you guys are self-abandoning a little bit, or maybe you're just really trying to like hold on again, but it's different for a different reason. You guys... Yeah, something's like stuck. I'm kind of like, y'all are holding something back from yourself, okay, and from other people around you. So we're gonna get some cards and see what that thing is. We've got relieved, reassured, soothed, at ease for your emotion card. We got comforted, reassured, consoled, and nourished. And creative, imaginative, inventive, expressive. Now that is super interesting because that is the exact opposite energy of how pile number 1 was. It's kind of like a weird, like, inverse of the other. You know what I mean? You feel like you're in reverse. Okay, so this is the 4 of Cups in reverse. Okay, so this off the bat, I was like, okay, what is this 4 of Cups about? And I'm like, you're, like, rejecting someone, but something's being spoiled for you. I don't know. We've got the King of Swords. Okay. We have Autumn, release the old and rest. And then we have Water Guardian, connect to your emotions. Man, is someone getting messed up by a Scorpio? That's all I'm saying, because I was just like, maybe I'm projecting a little bit, but I was like, I've got the Autumn, I've got the Water, I've got the King of Swords. I was like, my Scorpio senses are tingling. Anyways, but, yeah, I'm feeling, there's like a feeling of abandonment, but yeah, with this 4 of Cups in reverse, it feels like you guys are pushing something or someone away. You're specifically going, nope, I am the king of my own castle, or queen, and you are, okay, interesting. While I'm looking at the card here, I'm seeing, like, these feathers. It's almost like, I see you guys are kind of, like, in this weird space of, like, you're not quite reclaiming your throne yet, but you are decorating it. Have some people been doing some, like, interior decorating? Being like, okay, I don't wanna make the big decision yet, but I want my bathroom looking good, right? Right? Right, you're kind of just sitting there like, well, my mental health is in the gutter. But I started working out, and so my butt looks a little nicer. Which, I mean, Spirit's like, this is true. This is true. However, there's a little bit more going on to this throne here. Okay? Right? And you see, like, with the King of Swords, he's got this big old sword here. This sword keeps him safe. This sword also is where a lot of his power lies. And so what is the Suite of Swords all about in tarot? It's all about intellectualism, communication, air energy, all that other stuff, right? Sorry, I just saw some confirmation about something. But yeah, and so to me, it feels like working on your enlightenment would come in handy for whatever you guys are trying to build, or you just seeking out your own stability. And it's kind of like learning that you're in charge of your own life. Oh, that's also interesting too. We've got like 3 crows here as well. So with this Autumn card, you also got another crow as well. Yeah, lots of feathers. So again, I'm feeling like flighty energy. Maybe you guys are having a hard time making a decision on what your future career is going to be, or maybe making a decision about a person or a relationship. And so for you guys, I feel like this is so strange. I'm so sorry. It's really hard channeling y'all's energy because it's almost like every time I look at the truth, I go, ha ha ha. The hell? What are you guys on, pile number 2? What I was about to say was, like, so for this card, we've got a firefighter, right? And he's handing the kitty to this little girl. And this kind of feels like you. And you want Spirit to hand you this little kitty. In fact, you want a hot firefighter dude to deliver this kitty. Or a specific person. You're just like, oh, hey. And then Spirit sends the dude, and you're like, oh, dear God, no. 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 Absolutely not. Right? You're just like, nope, nope. And meanwhile, you feel comforted just staying where you're at. So, if anything, Spirit's trying to remind you to get creative. To start using this mental turmoil and putting it in towards energy back into yourself. Right? So it's kind of like clearing the energy of, you're so focused on this cup. Right? You've got 3 other cups here. Okay? To choose from. But you want this cup. But instead of going for the cup, you look at it. I'm sorry. I gotta pull some cards to figure out what needs to be done to get to the answer. Okay, I already answered my own question. I don't need to pull cards. We've got the Water Guardian. Connect to your emotions. Okay, so I'm gonna read from the booklet on how to connect to your emotions, so that way you too can, I don't know, figure this out. Because I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Okay. 114. Okay, here we go. Alright, it says, take time to understand how you really feel. Know that your sensitivity is not a curse, but a gift that allows you to receive and understand messages directly from your soul, or soul person. Water is the element that is in your blood, your tears, and your flesh. The Water Guardian represents angels of water who can help you dive within to understand the depth of your emotions. These angels are all about helping you see that your emotions aren't just the feelings that are on the surface, they are also the old emotions you have locked deep within the shadow of your soul. Through helping you acknowledge your deepest emotions, the angels of water help you hear the messages these have for you and to unlock your intuitive powers and the energies of abundance. So for some of you guys, you need to clear out old energy so you can actually receive the intuitive messages that are meant for you now. You're still putting things on the back burner when that's old news, right? You've already moved past, you've already moved on. So what you have to do, I'm like looking at this lady's eyes, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's really pretty. Yeah, you guys are like really fixated and focused, but it feels like you still need to connect with some version of yourself in order to ground it. You know what I mean? So like, for example, if you're trying to manifest a partner, you can see visions about that person. You can get tarot readings about them. You can do whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if your emotional body is not caught up, if your emotions are still caught up in an old mess, an old timeline, your past, this person's never going to be available to you. You know what I mean? And again, we're playing for kings and queens here. Okay? We're not talking about, oh, I just want a dude I'm gonna date for 2 years and I'm gonna get cheap gas station flowers and blah, 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 and then we're gonna break up because he cheated on me or he's busy watching OnlyFans or something. No. We're looking for the real deal here, right? And resting, taking the time to sit and see how you actually feel, that's where all of this blockage and craziness is coming from. You just don't want to admit how you truly feel. Because it sucks. Right? It sucks when you like somebody that you're not supposed to be with. It sucks not liking something that you want. And seeing all the time and energy you put into somebody that turned out to be a jerk. Right? Whatever the answer is, you have to push through in order to get to your next destination. And it means sitting here and saying, okay, I'm going to release it now. Like, really, really feel it. Give it a space. Hold my own truth and boundaries. And then whatever comes next, comes next. You know what I mean? Because whatever y'all are doing, it's self-sabotaging. It's keeping you stuck. It's keeping you tangled in the past and it's sabotaging your creativity, and it's keeping you really just like, you're trying to get comfortable, you're trying to heal, but it's not working because it's not actually resting and reviewing, if that makes any sense. Like, you have to really be with yourself and be within. As for this King of Swords, you know, I mean, like, don't allow your brain to run everything, but you have to allow it to still and have some discipline mentally in order to kind of move forward. Yeah, I guess it's like, to me, like, you already know what your goals are, you already know what you want, you just need to stop self-sabotaging about it, or feeling bad, or feeling rejected if something you want actually comes true. You know, some of y'all, I'd say a majority of y'all, pile number 2, you guys know what you want, you have access to what you want, but you're not doing what you need to do to get there. You even know what you need to do to get there. You just won't, because you're afraid of happiness. Or you're afraid that, nope, I only have to settle with my 3 cups. I'm not allowed to have the 4th one. Why? Because someone in your past said so? Like, really understand your why. Because whatever your truth is, it's not holding back for no reason, but you have to understand it in order to untangle it. Yeah, I just read your message, Playboy. Exactly. You know what I mean? It's kind of amazing when you take a step back and see how people's behaviors really shine through, especially when we're valuing ourselves more, you know? And I think right now, it's kind of like, don't ever be ashamed for staying with a partner that doesn't treat you right, because at the end of the day, every living human being goes through that at some point. It's about learning how you overcome that, how you heal from it, what you learn, and then finding what doesn't. But you have to make sure you go through the whole process of learning, because if you didn't learn it, if you don't do the final piece of getting your heart integrated and those lessons integrated, then it's always going to keep dragging you and you're always going to be disconnected, right? So take your time. And here's the thing too, like, if you were really hurt by somebody, figure out why. What does that actually mean, being really hurt? You know, because I feel like when people talk about soulmates and all that other stuff, you know, I've kind of learned that, especially in the spiritual communities, people have different definitions of what a soulmate actually is. And so, for me, I mean, like, I believe that there are multiple soulmates, but the difference is a life partner is different than a soulmate, for example, because you can have soulmates that is like your best friend, your sibling, your parent. You know what I mean? Like, there's all so many different definitions, and so really, though, I think the most defining moment of a soulmate is someone that activates you spiritually and gets you to change and makes your life better. You know what I mean? And sure, I mean, there's occasionally bad things or drama, but that doesn't mean it's not like this toxic whatever the hell that everyone keeps promoting. I don't know. And so this kind of gives me that energy of, again, you're allowed to be comforting yourselves. However, there's a huge difference between keeping yourself comfortable in a stuck pattern versus comforting yourself after doing the work. You know what I mean? Comfort is supposed to help us feel better, but if it overtakes everything, then that's when it becomes harm. You know what I mean? So it's like trying to find like a balance. You know, and again, it kind of feels like if you felt drawn to both pile number 1 and pile number 2, I kind of feel like these are like similar energies, but the opposite. You know, it's kind of like the inverse of the other. So you can go ahead and check that out. I'm still going to have this live available after the show is finished, so you can go ahead and watch these 2 collective messages at a later point in time. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for checking out the collective messages. And now we're going to get to the individual readings. Wow. Man, I'm like gassy, hiccupy, everything. Okay. Alright, let's look. Okay, cool. Alright, so we have 3 up right now. So we have Jay Quinn, who is going to be first. Oh, it's Jacqueline. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Then we're going to have I Speak My Truth. And then we're going to have R. Lopez. Okay. So we're starting with you, Jay Quinn. Are you here? Let me go ahead and pull up the... Hi, Lovebug. Hey! You're drinking Playboy. That's how you should do it. Yeah. Hello. So everybody who wants to do a reading, check out the link in the description. Sign up on Hypesy, and that's how you get your free reading. Hello, hello. Hi, Lovebug. Ari, did you sign up on Hypesy? Because I don't see your request in the queue. Here, I'm going to share the link once again. Please make sure you sign up. Okay, G Quinn. Let's go ahead and get to your reading. Okay, sorry about that, Ari. I would like to know when my boyfriend Juan or Johnny Ortega will propose to me. What are his current intentions? Okay, so... when is Johnny going to propose to you? Oh, is he like... Your man is so sweet. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm sorry, like, I'm just picking up on his energy. And he's like... Does he, like, do cute little things for you? Like, does he, like, leave you, like, treats or flowers or something like that? There's just something about you two's energy that he just, like... But I feel like he's really quiet about it. You know what I mean? Like, there's something about him where I feel like he doesn't really like to talk to his, like... Well, I feel like he doesn't talk to, like, a lot of his friends about stuff, but I feel like he's got, like, a best friend that he talks to you, or, well, he talks about you to his best friend a lot. Everybody else has no idea, but he's just like, oh my gosh, and I just literally feel like, specifically this area of his face just really lights up when he's thinking about you. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Swords in reverse for you, Jacqueline. So this is about him proposing, and like, what are his intentions? I feel like it's a little too soon for him. I don't feel like... One second, I want to, like, ground this energy. Okay, yeah, so I feel like he's looking for more stability in the relationship before proposing. Okay? Because, like his feelings for you, it's... He does have the intention of proposing, but he wants to wait because he's feeling like the relationship's not ready for it. You know what I mean? There's something about, I don't know if you guys had like a conflict that hasn't come to a full solution yet, or there's something that he's kind of like holding back on. It's kind of like his heart's in it, but he's still kind of waiting to see like your moves. It kind of feels like on your side, he's not really clear on if you're wanting to commit, if that makes any sense. I feel like or maybe it's not necessarily that, but I feel like he's a little reserved about your energy, Jacqueline. I keep seeing your username, and I'm like, Jacqueline and Jaquin sound close, and so I keep screwing it up in my head. Yeah, I mean, he really likes you. He really does. I just feel like this is a timing thing. So I feel like proposal energy's a possibility, but you have to close out a cycle first. And honestly, I feel like maybe, like, don't push the topic, because I feel like he's not ready to, like, I feel like he doesn't know how to put things in words sometimes, too. So there's something about him where he's kind of like, he senses it's not the right time, but if you, like, went up to him and asked him and say, oh, hey, are we having a problem in our relationship? And he'll be like, no. And you're gonna be like, but there's a problem in the relationship, and he's gonna go, no. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's more of like, maybe you should be honest about maybe like your expectations, or like, for example, if you want to be married by a certain date, absolutely say something, because I feel like he would not know that you're pressuring for that unless, like, okay, let me put it this way. It's not like he doesn't know you don't want to get married, or no, he knows that you want to eventually get married, right? But I don't think he knows that you feel like it would be a deal breaker if something didn't meet a certain expectation or timeline. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay, that's a better way to word it. Because to me, I'm just like, don't panic. It's not like he's going anywhere. It's just also at the same time, he's trying to, like, take it easy, but also doesn't always understand some of your actions. But he really fancies you. I'm really hoping this resonates with you, because I'm just like, man, like, this guy, like, I feel like you get him pressed. And so, like, I'm almost afraid to tell you. Not even, I'm not afraid, but I feel like his energy's influencing me. Because he's like, don't say it this way, because then she's gonna think this, and that's not how it's happening, because you're gonna get excited or get anxious, and then I don't know what to say or do, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm just reading the energy, and he's just like, but I don't know how to explain this stuff yet, and I'm like, well, all I know is you two are gonna be happy, so it'll be okay. You guys are gonna be okay, alright? Also, everyone say hello to Moose. Moose decided that she wants to be a part of the live stream. What are you doing? What are you... Well, it looks like I spilled something on my shirt. Okay, that explains why she was going after my clothes. Anyways, that was your message, Jacqueline. I hope you enjoyed it. Alright. Okay, alright, now we're on to Lorraine. Yes, Playboy, you were on the list. I don't see Ari, though. So just letting you know, Ari. Okay. Will everything be okay in terms of me getting back on my feet again? Was laid off and have been stressed. Aw, I'm so sorry about that. Sending you a lot of love. I'm gonna go ahead and pull a card and see what does Spirit want you to do or no? Aww. No, I get that. Moose is pretty chill. Sometimes she can get overwhelming, but in general, she's usually pretty chill. Okay. So, you got the Two of Pentacles in reverse. Okay? So that just tells me that your spirit guide team wants you to know to not let this setback make you out of balance. I feel like it already has kind of made you feel out of balance, and you're kind of going like, oh gosh, well, like, because I see you have a lot of balls in the air. Okay? And so there's something about Spirit saying, focus on the balls. Like, I don't know if you've heard the analogy of, like, when you have balls in the air, Some of them are made of glass and some of them are made of rubber, right? So if you drop one ball, some of them are going to bounce back up, other ones are going to shatter and break, right? Make sure you focus on the glass ones, but even then, I feel like it's just all about your approach. As long as you continue to take care of yourself and act like it's another day, you're going to keep making progress. However, if you stay in your truth and trust, you're going to know when something's coming towards you that's for you and what's not. I don't know, I feel like the layoff was kind of a mild redirection that was kind of intentional. And so, again, in order for you to kind of get out of it, just make sure you don't stay stuck and don't stay stagnant. Like, keep moving and make sure that, again, it doesn't have to necessarily be even applying for jobs. It's like making sure you're doing self-care. If anything, okay, this is a really cute example, and I like this, so I need to actually use this. This is a great idea. So what Spirit was showing me was use being unemployed as an excuse to do your little glow-up thing. So basically, do your hair every day. Wear your makeup. Wear your nice clothes, right? Go and make it fun and turn it into something that gives you confidence. Like, right now would be a great time to be like, all right, what are some things that I want to work on professionally with my skills? Okay, I could work on my interview skills. I could work on my public speaking, or, you know what? Thinking of meal prepping, right? Meal prepping in case you don't have a good routine whenever you're working. Try practicing your meal prepping while you're unemployed. You know, it's like doing things that are still leveling you up will keep your mind preoccupied and won't have you as stressed and focused on the being laid off part. And again, with the balls in the air, I'm just feeling like just let them sit and focus on what's important. You know, focus on finding a job, focus on healing, because I feel like there was some kind of like there was an emotional break with this getting laid off. I feel like, I don't know if maybe you trusted that this job was going to keep you on for longer, or maybe you thought that someone else was going to hire you, or you'd hear back and then something didn't happen, and then you got laid off and then you're like, oh. Like, there's some kind of it just kind of hurt your self-esteem a little bit. And so Spirit's trying to say, like, that's just showbiz, honey. It's the way of the world, has nothing to do with your value or whatever, but they are saying pause and try to also adjust with that. Yeah, you're healing from my last relationship. That makes sense too. Because, like, again, with all that balance, it's like you don't have to focus on everything at once, but it is important to make sure, like, have your basic checklist. Did I take my meds this morning? Did I shower? Did I eat 3 meals a day? Did I blah, 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 blah? I haven't had time because I've been in survival mode. Nope, I get that. That, if anything, that's even more important, that you pause and do some self-care. Because the self-care is going to make it easier for your job interview. So I recommend, like, if you've got a job interview coming up, I'd say give yourself a break and a timeout this week. Focus on literally saying, I'm only focusing on the job interviews and relaxing. That is your job. Because if you show up to a job interview stressed and desperate, they're going to feel that. And so saying, hey, Spirit said you are getting a job, right? You're going to get one of these jobs. So relax and let it come to you, you know? And it's like, I get it. You know, like, I'm technically unemployed too right now. And all of that financial stress, like, builds up, you know? And what ends up happening is, if you are missing the ability to take care of yourself, it will just compound, and it just doesn't help. You know what I mean? Because you can't do anything about not having a job, so then at the same time, if you can't do anything about it, then it's nothing to worry about, you know? Yeah, starting with the outcome, and, like, again, I have a pretty good feeling you're gonna at least get one of the jobs. You know? I really do. It feels like it. It's just, again, focusing on your balance to be like, hey, you know what? You are doing your best, and it's okay to just take a couple breaths, right? And it's hard, you know, because you're like, well, I have to do this and I have to do this, and it's like, honestly, that resting when you need it it's almost like if you're running a marathon and you don't take any water or any breaks to like breathe, you know? And then it wears you down. Yeah, and it's like I feel like there's like a lot of societal pressure whenever you're like, I'm financially stressed, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, guess what? You also have friends. There's also generous people out there. You know? Sit there and be like, hey, if it's PB&J week, then what we're going to do is we're going to toast the PB&J and we're going to cut it in half, just like your mamas did, and eat it that way. You know? It's like, when you do those tiny little things, that's why I'm saying, like, dress nice, because it gives your body the illusion to be like, hey, you know what? If I look good, I can't be down in the dumps. And it's like, and it allows you to kind of be like, hey, I am doing what I need to be doing. Everything else just is out of my control. I actually meal prep tonight. There you go. There you go. But yeah, I already know you're going to get a job. It's just, again, it's not going to be the job that you want, but it's going to get you what you need until you get out of survival mode and then go on to the next step, you know? And keep it pushing. Like I said, you got this. Throw on some funky music and be like, okay, I'm going to keep it funky no matter what's in my bank account and no matter what's going on around me. No problem. All right. My cat kind of stinks a little bit. This is why I call her Stinky Kitty. I'm like, girl, what is your deal? Stop farting on my live. All right, anyways. R. Lopez, you were up. Oh, we got a breaking no contact situation. Ooh. Ooh. I gotta know all about that tea. Alright, R. Lopez, and then it's going to be Playboy Bunny. Step right up. Ah, the funky video. Funky music video is done. Alright, we're doing a new video. Oh, you're here. Okay, awesome. So you wanted to know about what are Raymond's next actions towards you after you spoke this morning after 2 years of no contact? Ooh, okay, okay. Let's see, what are Raymond's intentions? I'm not gonna lie, he feels a little sneaky. I don't know, there's something... I kind of don't trust him. I feel like he needs something. Okay, so let's see, we've got the Four of Wands. Okay, so I do feel like he was authentically missing you. Okay? So maybe I misspoke, okay? I'm sitting here like, because he is feeling nostalgic. I feel like he did genuinely want to reach out to talk to you and catch up. I see all these flowers. I feel like, did you guys have like good memories? I feel like there were definitely bad memories, but I feel like he really wants to focus on the good. I just feel like he's hiding something, or he's holding something back. I don't know. I'm just feeling like if he asks for money or something like that, don't give it to him. But otherwise, he's legit. You know what I mean? I just feel like there's some kind of thing going on in the background that right now he just wants to like feel good. You know what I mean? And you were someone that was positive. Like in general, like I feel action-wise, I feel like he's going to continue to reach out. It feels like I also feel like he wants to get to know you better. I don't know if you've changed, or maybe I feel like maybe you grew up in some kind of way. But he definitely feels like someone that's a little lost in life right now. And so that's why I think Spirit's trying to say, like, hey, you know, you can be his friend, but, like, if anything becomes draining, set your boundaries up. You know, don't be available to get dragged into anything. Because I feel like he's really smooth. You know, like, he's a good talker. You know, he's a good time. But then, like, then something comes out, and then it's kind of like, oh, well, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like that's when it's going to go, oh. And that's why I say, like, have fun. Or, okay, let's see what Spirit's saying. Spirit is saying, like, it's okay to just talk. You know? But that seems to be mostly what his intention is just kind of talking and going back and forth. And, again, I do feel like he either finds you attractive, or there's just something about you that, like, my eyes keep getting drawn to the white flowers. You know, where there's something just very pleasant about you. And so, something about your interactions are really healing for him. And yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he bought you flowers because he was thinking of you, but it doesn't feel super, like, romantic, if that makes any sense. I just feel like there's, like, a hidden, like, other version of him that he's not showing. Yeah. Yeah, he just wants to talk. And have a good time. Sorry, Moose keeps, like, she's, like, on my knees. He doesn't want sexual... Yeah, I didn't feel that energy. It really genuinely feels like he's more of, like, yeah, like, you feel stable. You feel like... It's almost like... It gives me, like, not childhood, like, someone from your past, but it definitely feels like kind of like a really positive, like, oh my gosh, like, I haven't seen you since high school, or, like, whatever. Like, again, I can't really get a gauge of how long you've known this person, but at least around you, he kind of becomes younger, if that makes sense. He, like, feels safe around you, and he's kind of like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it genuinely brings, like, this really nice spark to him. So I think, to him, I think that's, like, important to him right now. Aw. Yeah, Moose. What do you think about Raymond? Ah, nope. Just looking for kitty balls, so she has no opinion. Well, anyways, I hope that answered your question. Thanks for stopping by. Alright, we've got Playboy Bunny Snacks. With How Will My Weekend Go? Are you here, Playboy? Playboy, are you there? And then if anyone else wants a reading, now is the time to put in your request. Playboy! Are you here? Gotta see what time it is. It's 8. It's only been an hour, y'all. Pretty solid stream. Because if Playboy doesn't come back, I might do one more collective message. Or you can jam with me. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Well, if Playboy doesn't come back, I'm gonna go ahead and do one more collective message for the folks that are still hanging around. This is when I start dropping raps and be like, yeah. I wish I could rap, but I'm a little weird. Here's the thing, I'm good with lyrics, but like, I'm too afraid to publicly rap yet. Like, I literally sat there and tried, like, having, like, some of my favorite songs, I sit there and be like, okay, I can, like, do this, and it's like, there's so much going on with your mouth that I'm just so impressed with rappers. Yeah, that's been kind of, like, a new interest of mine as I've gotten older, is I'm like, how do they do that? Like, especially the ones that talk like, really, really fast, I'm like, you are so skilled! Ah. Alright. Alright, so, what is a topic that I could do for the collective message? Okay, how about this? Because for some reason I was getting like the energy of like exes and blah blah blah, and I was like, I don't want to talk to exes. You know what I mean? I want to talk about, let's do messages from somebody who wants to talk to you right now. Let's do that. And then Playboy Bunny, whenever you come back, please let me know. Oh, we've got another person requesting. In that case, since we've got someone coming in, I'm gonna go ahead and do JJ's reading. Since... Can I want to see if I can move with Q. Aha! Yes, I can. Alright, JJ, you are up. Says, what did my ex expect after he did bad things? And we broke up, just wondering. Aw, I'm so sorry that happened to you, JJ. So you're trying to, like, get an idea of, like, why did he do what he did? He's like, what the hell? Okay, alright. Let's do messages for you, JJ. So what was going on with JJ's ex? Oh. So you got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. He was not in a good mental headspace when he did those things. I think a more accurate explanation, JJ, is he was really disconnected from his actions. I don't feel like he was fully there. You know, which, like, that's not an excuse, right? Because obviously he was there. But, like, the denial and the shame around what he did caused him to abandon himself in those moments. And so he really wasn't thinking about the relationship or caring. It feels like he was just emotionally reacting. And with this Ace of Pentacles being in reverse, it feels like he really was ungrounded. And he was not strong enough to contain the rage that he had. I don't know if he was pissed at you, or he was pissed at... Is he, like, pissed at his grandfather? I don't know. There's, like, all this other energy and shit in his head that has nothing to do with you, JJ. Some of it has to do with you, but, like, honestly, like, there's something about, like, you have to believe that you don't deserve people like this guy, and it doesn't matter what he was thinking or what was going through his head, because it doesn't matter. You shouldn't have been treated that way. Same with the other people involved in this situation, too, because I'm like, bro, like, I'm sure if you gave me the full tea, I'd sit there and be like, delete, block, tell him to go get some therapy, because I really feel like this guy, like, he needs some help up here. I don't know if he's got an alcohol or addiction problem, but, like, he's very desensitized to the things he says, his actions, his words, and it's almost like this person, it almost feels like the past keeps creeping up back to haunt him, and he tries to continue to, like, push it away. You know what I mean? It's like out of sight, out of mind. And so it's kind of like how he copes with what he did is like, it's kind of like flipping a switch in his brain where he's like, well, as long as I never see my ex again, I don't have to think about what I did. But that's not how that works, you know what I mean? Because obviously he remembers what he did, and it's not like you were the only person he hurt multiple people. And I feel like he just is in denial of his abusive behavior. And yeah, I just feel like he's just so filled with shame and bullshit that doesn't even belong to him, but it kind of feels like he's stuck in a generational pattern too. Again, not an excuse, but like, it really feels like his behavior can be explained by the men in his family, and explanations don't cut it. You know, they don't justify making these choices, and he chose to continue to go down that same route. So you have to hold him accountable and say, no, buddy, screw you. And that's that. Yeah, I mean, like, in terms of his expectations, yeah, he didn't know. He didn't have any expectations. He literally just acted. This is the kind of person that just does things and doesn't think about the consequences. He acts first, then thinks. I wish I had a better explanation, but like literally that's it. You know, that is what he operates with. And to me, I'm like, that's just inexcusable. You know? Like, grow up. Then again, in his case, it's not a matter of growing up. It's a matter of get some help. Go to therapy. Please. Well, anyways, though, JJ, that was your reading. I hope that helped you. And wishing you some healing on your journey with your breakup, you know? At the end of the day, he didn't deserve your love. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just be careful with who you choose and love yourself enough to choose better. Okay, cool. Alright. Playboy Bunny, are you here? We got Moose out here. Having a good old time in the background. Alright. So I'm gonna go ahead and do Playboy's reading. And then if she comes back later to watch it, she can. How about that? Hello, future Playboy Bunny snacks. These are gonna be your messages on how your weekend is going to go. Okay, so you got the Page of Cups. So I feel like it's gonna be pleasant. I feel like there's gonna be like a small surprise. Like maybe you like win something, or maybe there's like someone gives you a coffee or buys you a drink or something. It's gonna be like really small. But I feel like I'm getting the vibe of it's gonna be a little more chill. Like, I feel like your weekend is going to be a little bit more on the relaxing, but there's also going to be, like, slightly irritating moments at the same time. Like, the reason why I say that is, like, I see the crab in this photo, and I was like, I almost feel like you're, like, trying to, like, put your toes in the sand, and then there's, like, oh shit, there's a crab. So you're kind of like, So it's kind of like, I could see that translating into, maybe there's some traffic on the way to the event you're going to, or maybe your phone doesn't charge on your charger. You know, minor inconveniences that, like, kind of cause you to make different decisions. But yeah, you're gonna be looking good. You're gonna be having a good time. Yeah, I see you going out. And if you don't have plans to do that, you definitely should. Because I feel like there's kind of like either something going on in your town that would be fun for you, or like, again, there's something about like, just go and show yourself off. Go out there and just be like, yeah, meet some new people. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you're like looking for something, maybe like a person, or like have an expectation for this weekend though, you're gonna come up empty-handed. So Spirit's just saying like, have low expectations and just kind of like treat it like just a boring weekend. Being like, no plans. We're just gonna go have some fun. Even if that fun means going to a bookstore and sitting and drinking a nice cup of coffee. Or just looking and feeling good. Alright, well, that's how your weekend is gonna go, Playboy Bunny Snacks. Gonna go ahead and move you off the list. Alright. I have reached my 5Q max for tonight. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you want to support my YouTube channel, please like, subscribe, you know, comment on my videos, watch my YouTube videos. I release a new pick a card reading every Tuesday. I've got all kinds of different topics that we talk about. So, thank you guys.